to infinity and beyond.
This is me. This is how I win.
Were you rushing or were you dragging? Answer!
You're a wizard, Harry.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
No, I am your father.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
And here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back inside the film room. Zach Goins here with Johnny Sobchak and a very special guest. It's the one and only Jake Lawler. He's back, folks, for a big episode. We're talking The Last of Us, episode 2, and we're looking ahead to the year 2023. We're looking at the movies and TV shows that are coming soon, and we're drafting them. So I had to bring Jake in for a little friendly competition. But guys, how does it feel to have the squad back together?
Feels beautiful. We've been away for so long.
When was the last time?
I think
it's been a long time since a voice that deep was on this podcast, Jake. Yeah. We needed it. That bass.
Is the last time I saw both of your faces your wedding? Was that?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm secretly FaceTiming each one of you individually, just every night, a little goodnight kiss.
No, it's been a while, so it's good to have you back in the flesh. Close enough to in the flesh here. Getting to see your face on Zoom and have you on the podcast. Going back to your roots here inside the film room, but we're excited to have you. And it's going to be, I know you're a big The Last of Us fan, so that'll work really well to have you break that down with us and then dive into the competition here. Absolutely. Johnny, what's going on with you?
Same old, man. Not a lot. This January movie window is.
I have still only seen Megan, so.
Bro, you're hating on Plane.
It's like literally, I know I need to see Plane. Haters? I need to see Missing because I loved Searching, and we know
I did too.
The pod loves Anish Chaganty, so even though he didn't direct this one, but I have high hopes for Missing, so we'll see what happens there.
I guess you could say Plane isn't really on my radar. But
boo.
No, none of these movies are tickling my fancy quite yet. But I have faith that Infinity Pool will hit the spot.
Your fancy for blood and guts and semen and piss and shit and all that.
Whoa, buddy.
That's your fancy. It sounds like not nice action TNT level movies. I feel like that's what Plane is.
Oh, it's great. Are you kidding me? It was a sick movie. I had a great time.
I'm like, my expectation is that it's like gonna be the prime like 5:30 in the afternoon on TNT West. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. But I love those kind of movies. So
that's what I'm saying.
We'll
Gerard
see.
Butler.
Johnny, you said it's not on your radar, so I'll use that as a segue to get into our like obligatory publicizing of what we've got going on. Johnny's awards radar back up and running. Oscar nom. By the time you're listening to this podcast, Oscar noms will be out. So if you wanted to look and see how good his predictions were, I guess today we had our piece go up that we were recording on Monday. So Johnny's final predictions ahead of nominations. He'll be circling back with I guess one last round of predictions now that once we know the official nominees. That's up on the website. Johnny's got a review of White Noise up on the website. Our interview with Luke Tenney from Shrinking dropped this week. It is on YouTube, so go check that out. As always, subscribe to our newsletter, The Rewind. All that is on our social pages and on the website. But that's all out of the way now. We can get down to some fun. What have we been watching other than The Last of Us? I know that's been one that's taking up a Sunday night 9 p.m. slot for all of us. What else have you been watching? Not movies, obviously. We've heard that, or at least not new movies.
I know Jake's been cranking them out. as of late?
Oh, I've been locked in, man. Are you kidding me? It's been sick. I watched the so I watched the full version of Seven Samurai. Now there's a 2 hour and 38 minute version because I guess when Seven Samurai is coming out, Toho cut 50 minutes of it because they were just like, why the fuck did he deliver 3.5 hours of this movie? So I had to drive to my local video rental place to get the full version because HBO and they've been censoring our 50s masterpiece. I will say I watched it in high school and I thought it was boring as shit and I didn't like it. And I revisited it and I realized that I should never trust my high school self again because I had a wonderful time.
You've matured.
I've matured, I've grown, I've understood that there are cool things that are not in the English language and are in black and white. So I've come a long way. That was quite good.
Wow.
I have been doing a little catch up. Jake will like this, I think. I only watched a couple movies over the last week. At my buddy's house, I've been meaning to watch, and there's still a lot of Scorsese films that I need to watch, and Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out later this year. So I'm trying to get caught up in some bigger ones. In Casino, I had not seen that yet.
Oh,
And,
sick. Very cool.
He had the 4K, and it's really fun. It's like Goodfellas in Vegas, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad log line by any means. And De Niro, Pesci, they're all doing their thing. They're great. So I really liked it. If anyone hasn't gotten around to watching that one yet, I feel like people don't necessarily think of it as like lesser Scorsese, but it's not something that people think about maybe like with Goodfellas or Raging Bull or Taxi Driver. And then I got around to Jake. I got to watch me and my brother just on a whim because the Eagles Giants game was so horrible. After the first quarter, we were like, okay, we're putting on a movie. We spent like another quarter like debating, figuring out what we were going to watch. And then we ended up landing on Miami Vice on HBO Max.
No way.
So we pushed it to the limit time, and it was good. It was really good.
Oh, it's sick. Are you kidding me?
That's right up your alley, Jake. You've been on a kick. Isn't that like you've tweeted about it multiple times about how much of a masterpiece you love Miami Vice.
Bro, if I had to fucking donate blood or give my life, what was that Guillermo del Toro tweet about about Martin Scorsese? That applies to me to Michael Mann. He's 77. I'd give him another 50 years to keep making shit. It's crazy because the movie comes out and people don't like it, which they're fucking idiots. And it's just like watching it, even if you're not like inject this shit into my bloodstream, which is like how I was, because from the very moment. Did you watch the theatrical cut, right?
Yes,
not the
I'm pretty
director's
sure.
cut.
Yeah.
So, the difference is because it's the Universal logo, and then boom, Linkin Park comes in, which is so sick. But like, even if you don't like it, even if people didn't like it, I don't know how you watch that, which is like one of the most visually interesting, probably the most visually interesting from an aesthetic standpoint, and it's and a mood standpoint and a tonal standpoint from out of his entire career. I don't know how you watch that. You're just like, not for me.
Yeah, I've only seen I think this and Heat, and I still need to watch like Manhunter and Thief and these other things.
Zach's seen Thief, right?
I've seen
Zach,
Thief.
You've seen Thief.
I think that's the only
excellent.
Michael Mann movie I've seen though. I know
And
that's a sin for you, Jake.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen Collateral. You haven't seen Collateral? With
Dude,
Tom Cruise and Jamie
gotta
Foxx?
watch Collateral.
Collateral's
Jake, you have obviously been away too long to remember that I haven't seen all these old classic movies.
But Collateral was like a normal. It made like $250 million or something like that.
I'm pulling up his
in 2004,
his letterbox.
Yeah,
but
Tom Cruise's best performance.
I would say this is not. This is my least favorite of those three, just on first watch. But I can absolutely see why some people like absolutely love it because it's so specific as far as its tone and mood, and it honestly like it's very hard to describe. Like it's almost like if like Terrence Malick made like a crime movie.
No,
like,
that's what it is.
Like
that's
a gangster, like drug,
yeah.
like running movie. It's like very much about just the like moment to moment. And it's very romantic.
Yeah.
which I had no idea about. I thought this movie
Yeah.
was gonna be all in Miami, like the streets of Miami.
No.
We're driving here and shooting this
The
guy.
the 20
If
minute
you
the
want
20
that,
minute
Johnny,
Havana romance.
Johnny, if you
Yeah.
want that, you got to watch Too Fast, Too Furious.
Ah,
That's all about some Miami action
that's
right there.
you're right. You got
As
me
I'm
there.
wearing my Vin Diesel the movies shirt right
Nice.
here.
But yeah, no, I love the whole Havana
Oh,
sequence.
it's amazing.
As soon as they got in
Amazing.
that go fast boat, oh man,
Yeah.
I was all over that. But yeah, me and my brother, who's not like, he loves movies, of course, but he's like not
No.
as much of a cinephile as I
He
am. I
doesn't
guess.
co-host a movie podcast.
He does not co-host a movie podcast. He liked it a lot. He was
Yeah.
like, I don't think he really knew what to expect either. And like even through the romance and like the slower like stuff, like he really did like it. So, and he was like, I want to watch it again. He was like,
Oh,
I
there
think
you
it's just-
go.
the other thing I'll say real quick before we move on is I can see why people wouldn't have liked it when it came out
Yeah.
in 2006, but it's such a perfect time capsule of like
Mhm.
mid 2000s,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
aesthetic, like the music, the fashion, the video, like element of it. It's just very, and like even like the politics, like some of the underlying themes I thought were very interesting. So if you haven't seen it, if you've been wavering like I have, go check it out. I think it's still on, it should be on HBO Max at least for a little while longer. It's a good one. And Colin Farrell, he's going to be Oscar nominated.
He is so good in Miami Vice.
He's so good. He's been so good for years in so many different things.
Yeah,
I think it's like
of
really
course.
in the last couple of years turned into one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
And it's timely. And I think one of the reasons I want to watch this because he'll be Oscar nominated by the time people are watching this, so or listening to it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a good one and a little maybe underrated or it's getting its due now years later.
Yeah.
You may, if it's still on HBO Max, you may have convinced me for my evening entertainment tonight. Rebecca's
gotta
on night
check it,
shift.
bro.
I've got the TV to myself. We'll see. But
You gotta put it on. Gotta put it on. It's sick.
what's been taking up my time though, other than The Last of Us, I know I watched The Menu, which is from last year, a movie that just came out. Didn't catch it in 2022, but watched it on HBO Max. Didn't have a ton of thoughts on it. Just like it was fine. It was like a 3-star, 60-ish for me, probably out of 100. Like it was entertaining. It was very basically like you remember in 2020 The Hunt, that it was like the like hunting MAGA people movie basically, or was it the opposite? Was it MAGA hunting? I don't even remember, but it was basically like if Gordon Ramsay made that movie, like a little cuisine, like a chef's spin on that. But that was fine. But what I've really been into, that 90s show, I will say this just came out on Netflix and I was very hesitant for this because I watched that 70s show like one summer in college, like me and my roommate binged it and loved it. But then like all of the trailers for this looked so cringy because it was like, okay, we're like, and we've seen so many like, especially on TV of like these like legacy reboots or like spin-offs of like How I Met Your Father or like now this, but just like the shows that like continue to like try to continue like recapture that magic. So the premise is like the original kids are grown up and now it's like the parents are now the grandparents and it's a new generation of children in the 90s. But it's been great. I've watched 6 episodes of it. They dropped 10. But it's got very much the same feel, the same comedy of the original without it being like, I think it helps because it's like 90s versus like some of those other shows have been like modernized to be like 2023, like we're saying bet and no cap and like but this is like very much like, okay, it feels like they're not trying to like make it timely, but instead it's still dated to this 90s period. And you've got some of the original cast popping in here and there, so that's been like the best part, obviously. But the new kids are fine. They're good, not as good as the originals, but enjoyable enough to still make it a really good time. So I would recommend it if you're a fan of the original. It's worth checking it out. But the real deal here, Shrinking, I'll talk about it more next week because it doesn't come out until Friday, but the embargo has lifted. Apple TV Plus from Bill Lawrence, Jason Segel, Brett Goldstein, a lot of the Ted Lasso crew is creating this new comedy. And I've watched 9 of the 10 episodes already, but I can already tell it's going to be one of my favorites of the year. I don't want to I don't want to spoil anything that may be coming later in this episode with the draft that we're going to be getting down into. I can't reveal my strategy too soon. But it's fantastic. It's very much in the same vein of Ted Lasso, of like a half-hour comedy that is way more than just a comedy. It talks about very real things of like mental health and terminal illness and trauma and grief and loss, like all of these things that don't sound very funny, but they find a way to make it work. So I'll talk more about that after everybody else has seen the first 2 episodes next week. They drop on Apple this Friday, but it's a lot of fun, really good stuff. But let's get into what the biggest TV event is so far. Huge numbers coming out of The Last of Us episode 2, that this is now the biggest week 1 to week 2 jump in HBO history as far as viewership goes. So Johnny, I know Johnny, you and Jake both were on this from the start. And how does it feel to be seeing this audience growing as we're getting deeper into this show?
I'm not surprised. Is my answer to that.
I was also in the, just to clarify, I was also very excited for this, but just not with the history and attachment to it that you guys have from the game.
No, this was like just the easiest. I'm not going to say easy. That'd be disrespectful. But it is like, there's so much like rich material here, and like the talent that I knew was involved. I trusted that they would deliver something that would satisfy fans, but also bring in plenty of new fans and viewers. And I mean, so far we're only 2 episodes in. Of course, we have 7 to go, but I think they've done exactly that. And I knew it would be one of, if not the biggest new show of the year. And so far, those numbers are looking pretty good. I mean, that one number, I think it's percentage from week 1 to week 2, episode 1 to episode 2 in HBO history. I mean, that's pretty wild.
When you're thinking about all of the fantastic shows that HBO has had, like,
yeah, like
there are so many that have so many people watching them, and to know that this is the biggest, that's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah. I think that just speaks to, I mean, over the last week, there's been so much online buzz about this show, and I feel like every day there was new people talking about it, new tweets going viral, new metrics coming out from HBO or like the trades. So I'm not like, I am still surprised at how impressive that jump is, but I just think the word of mouth so far has been, again, I'm not surprised, but it's like very impressive. And I think that it's just going to continue to grow. A lot of folks, reviewers and critics that have seen the series and at least the first few episodes say that the next week's episode is like all-timer stuff. So, and that's compared to what we've already seen. That says a lot. So I'm very, very excited. It's just a matter of time before we get a season 2 announcement. You know, it's in the bag. It's just a matter of what's the optimal time to drop that news and crank up the viewership. And I'm excited to see not only the show play out itself, which I'm very much invested in, and of course at this point, and my whole family is, but also just to see like how the viewership and like the metrics kind of go up just out of curiosity, and how high can this thing really go.
Yeah, Jake, we talked about it last week, the first episode. Thoughts on the first episode? I know you are currently playing the games, or semi-recently. You weren't an OG, but
no, so that was one of the things. So I was a big gamer growing up, but horror games scared the shit out of me. Like, you know, as a horror writer and as like a horror movie fan, I can do that. Like, I think there may be only one movie that has really gotten to me, because I think it's just the level of immersion, right? Like, obviously when you're sitting back, you know that this is sort of like a preordained experience when you're watching a horror movie or a horror show, and you're sort of aware that you're along for the ride, but you're not the one in the front seat. And the horror games, anything from like Alan Wake, Silent Hill, Alien Isolation, they all scared the fuck out of me. And I heard Last of Us was scary, and I was like, why the fuck would I put myself through this? So I didn't do it for years. And then I think when the announcement deepened, I think it must have been after the show had finished, the first season had finished production. I was like, fuck it. Like, Connor had been asking me to, Johnny had been asking me to. It seemed like sort of a no-brainer. And I was like quasi live texting my reactions to y'all, like as the plot thickened in the games. And it's cool. I mean, you know, it's obviously the games are extraordinary. And it's nice to have it so fresh. I think this might be the first time, at least I can remember, like fundamentally understanding and having a clear view of an adapted story. And just like every week I know what's going to happen. But the cool thing about the show is that there's all these wrinkles and presentations and little garnishes and things that weren't in the games. For example, the 2 cold opens, which if they do another cold open like that, I'm just going to start calling it like "We're Fucked" the miniseries, because they keep just like going back on it. But man, I like, you know, Bella Ramsey is Titanic. Pedro Pascal is obviously one of our great TV actors, one of our great actors anyway. And it looks great. You know, obviously the writing is remarkable considering who's behind the camera and who's been creating the story. So I've been very excited and very much not looking forward to reliving some of the traumatic experiences that are about to unfold. So
I have the naivety of not having played the games, that I'm just along for the ride, but I know from just like the way that you guys talk about it that it's going to be some like Game of Thrones level heartbreak and shock, and I'm not emotionally prepared for it. But I do, like you mentioned, that all of the different elements that like the show is adding and expanding on. And if you watch the like inside the episode, they were talking about like with Tess specifically in this past episode, like how much they've like digged in, or that like in the brief time that we got with her, like digging into her character and expanding that. So I think it's cool that they're able to, you know, they in a lot of ways they are doing like a scene for scene. You see like the comparisons of like game to TV, but it's not just like in the sense that like the live action Lion King was like actually just a remake, that this is like adding stuff to it along the way, that it's like familiar but new at the same time. But the second episode, as we get into it, after escaping the QZ, Joel and Tess clash over Ellie's fate while navigating the ruins of a long abandoned Boston. So obviously the first episode was very much setting the scene of the outbreak, and then where we are now 20 years later, and it ended with the cliffhanger of them leaving the QZ. But one of the things that I thought was really cool about this episode was that in the grand scheme of things, like we know the plan is like, okay, we've got to get Ellie and drop her off with the Fireflies, and then we're going to be on our way to Wyoming with Joel and Tess. But in the grand scheme of that, like they probably made it like a quarter mile, a half mile in the whole part of this episode, and this like epic trek that they're going on. But it's still like so much happened in such little geographical distance, because they had to, like, instead of a straight path, they were obviously like weaving through the museum and everything as they're working their way around the infected and the destruction and everything. But I thought the way that they were able to just like pack so much into so little was fantastic.
well, and I think what's been really remarkable about it is it's so difficult to translate game mechanics into like a TV show or a film when you're trying to adapt a game. And most of it comes across as like either there's like a complete lack of reverence for the original stuff, or like a complete lack of understanding of how to translate it. I mean, obviously having Neil Druckmann is very helpful in sort of like making sort of a relatively smooth narrative shift over. But, you know, even the simple menial things, like you have to solving puzzles, you know, it's like waiting for somebody to climb over wreckage to open a door, and sort of like having the like an in-between between Joel and Ellie. And even like I think what's fascinating, or what's really remarkable about the show is that you know, skipping ahead a little bit obviously, but when they're in the museum with in the clicker room, and you know, it felt in a lot of ways like you were playing the game, like at least like my familiarity and my memories of playing the game, my recent memories of playing the game, is like, you know, having to reload and stepping on glass, and like if you step on glass it's fucked, and continuously failing at stealth and just having to shoot and run.
I saw a tweet,
but it's remarkable.
I saw a tweet that was like, The Last of Us, I think this is after the first episode, but it was like The Last of Us first episode felt very realistic, so true to the game, except for the part where Joel didn't die 18 times in the first room that he was running through and have to reload. But no, that's one of the things that I talked about last week. I asked Johnny, like, in this first episode, how much of it was like cutscenes versus gameplay. And like, because this is obviously, the game looks very cinematic, but as you were saying, like, how do you translate the gameplay to be compelling television rather than just like creeping around or like shooting all the time, like stuff like that. And I thought this episode did that really well. I haven't played these games, but it's the same production company and stuff that did Uncharted, which is a similar, like, I could see just from playing those games, like, you know, like the taking cover, creeping around, like those sort of things are very present in Uncharted as well. And you could feel that here.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, good thing to like bring that back up, Zach, because we talked about that, as you said, last week. And this one definitely felt more like a gameplay episode.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even the way the timeline kind of played out, it wasn't in real time, of course, but it was more truncated than episode one, I would say. Of course, we have those big time jumps in episode one. This was, as you said, like they go like maybe a mile or something, it feels like, and a lot of different intense traumatic things happen along that way. And it felt very true, and to Jake's point as well. And I tweeted this earlier kind of to this effect, but like the way that Neil Druckmann, who of course directed the games and would be the perfect person to try to recreate these sensations, the way he was able to recreate the feeling, as Jake said, of like having to reload and like take cover and like sneak around, and just like that anxiety and that fear in those situations, especially the fear based around the sound, both trying to avoid making a sound and the fear in that, but also the fear in what you hear from the clickers, which is an iconic sound in the games, of course, and I'm sure will now be kind of iconic within the scope of the show. That was just all so well done. And you know, when shit hits the fan and you just kind of have to, oh, I'm not doing stealth anymore, I'm running and sliding and trying to do all this stuff, like it was very much like in that same vein. And I just thought it was great how it just very much centered you with the perspective of these characters in this situation, and just like the game did. And also so there's the feeling, kind of like the almost intangible elements, but then also the production design and the values across the board are just so sensational. And one of my friends was just saying, like, as far as like the buildings toppling over and how all the overgrowth is done, it's within that kind of picture, it feels like the closest thing to like a Game of Thrones that HBO has really done, just based on the sheer size and scale of everything. You know, I've been to Boston, and I know this wasn't filmed in Boston, but it was just really cool to just think about like where these locations are supposed to be, and the proximity, and you know, kind of the history that's built into that as well. I thought there was something really interesting, just kind of on a side note, like the way that this fungus and like everything was like the overgrowth on like these in the museum, particularly because it's all American history, and these politicians are up on the wall like covered, and you know, it's just, you walk in and it's like just crumbling basically. There's even the shot at the very end, you know, Ellie's standing there and there's the American flag like waving up on top of the state house. So I just thought visually, I thought they just did an incredible job. They've been doing an incredible job through 2 episodes, but the way they realized Boston in this, I thought was great. And also, there's been some like not debate or like even discourse like about this, but I think the cinematography is really, really good, but it's done like, it's not like Game of Thrones. Like it's not like, it's a lot of it's handheld from what we've seen so far. Yeah. And so not a lot of it's like locked down, like beautiful vistas and like portrait, like one perfect shot, like sort of situations. It's more like it feels, I know they've worked with cinematographers and some of the directors, I think later in the season are more from like they're international and like art house like filmmakers from like Eastern Europe and the Middle East. And I know Mason and Druckmann are only 2 directors so far, but I think you get a sense of like that style more so in this. You get more of like a sense of like Chernobyl style, which if you guys have seen that, you know, like you can definitely pick those points out. I just think formally and like visually, aesthetically, everything is like hitting the right spots for me. Yeah. And then of course, like that goes with, I feel like it almost goes without saying that the story and like the characters, the acting, as you've both pointed out so far, is also up to par with all that. So through two episodes, like I really just couldn't be happier as far as the mixture of adaptation, like going one for one with certain shots, certain lines of dialogue, but then also fleshing out these different elements, like the cold open, which is so good.
Yeah.
Just like
well,
the
because
first.
the cold open, they had obviously like laid the breadcrumbs of
Yes.
what we got in episode 1. Like you hear the news story about like Jakarta and an outbreak, and like then it didn't say it in the episode, but I remember people online pointing out like, oh, the world's largest grain producer is based out of Jakarta, and so like they think it. And then I don't know if we talked about this last week or if I saw it after Johnny, but it was like the talking about in the first episode, like they didn't have flour, so they didn't make pancakes. They
Yeah.
didn't get the biscuits from the neighbors. There were like very obvious moments where, not obvious when you're watching, but when you think back of like the core characters avoiding wheat. And so like that's how they were able to, I assume we'll like get confirmation that like that's how they were able to avoid the initial outbreak. But in that cold open, like we go back to the initial outbreak, and I like the way that it was very much like, we're obviously like the main story is being told in 2023, the 20 years later, but it's doing a nice job of like filling in the gaps and still giving you that initial information, so that it's not just because I'm all for the survival story, but I also like just selfishly I'm like very interested in when it comes to like zombie stories, like the initial outbreak, like the aftermath of like the turn, you know. So I'm satisfied that we're getting to see both.
Well, and they're making great choices, right? Like these both of these cold opens were not in the game, you know, and why the fuck would they be? Like you're not going to be like the interactive like mycology professor who like tells everybody to bomb and like press X to say bomb the city. Like, no, that's not really going to work. But I think again, you know, this is TV, it's not a game, and I think that obviously like working within a different storytelling medium, part of that clarity is informative, and I think part of it's really engaging, right? I think like if they continue to sort of split if they split these times where like, you know, if we see throughout the season they continue to do moments in 2003 about like, you know, with different characters or sort of the nature of the outbreak, which obviously, you know, you spoke of Chernobyl, Johnny, which is something that is very much on Mason's mind, it seems like, considering how much research and how thorough that exploration of those events were. I think it allows, I think, for like a much more full and I think a much more engaging narrative experience rather than just like being like, oh fuck, zombies are here. guess we gotta roll through.
Yeah, no, I agree. As someone who's played the games, of course, like I love that stuff. Like I wasn't really worried about that, especially having seen Chernobyl and been such a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
We had seen some kind of press materials and stuff in the trailers. It was like, oh, that looks like not anything that was in the game, and between the scientists and the talk show and that sort of thing, I thought they've just really like that's been kind of like the most disturbing, sometimes like scariest of these things, because it feels so real. Like we can't relate to what's happening in 2023 in the show, like where it's all falling apart necessarily. But we can relate to, oh my God, there's like a pandemic is about to break out, or, you know, discussion of the effects of a pandemic and imagining that, you know, a worst case scenario. So that's been really, really cool. Zach, I am more curious. Just I know Jake and I like we love this shit. Like we're not really here to like critique or like get on anything, but I'm curious,
Right?
like for you as someone who's going in pretty much cold, talking about like cold opening, like what did you think with this episode as far? Because I asked you last week, like, were you willing to make any predictions or like what were you hoping to see next? I'm curious, like for the story and kind of the pacing of it, and like where the characters, what they went through, and kind of where they're left at the end of this episode. I was just curious, like how that felt to you, or like how it affected you, or what you're thinking compared to episode 1 and then going, you know, to episode 3.
Yeah, I will say I watched prior to episode 2. I rewatched the first one like leading into it, and had a much stronger grasp of just like with like the hindsight of watching it for the second time, I was able to like process better, make connections better, and like pick up on the details and like who people were referencing, you know, especially with like when they were trying to get like the engine, like the deal that went wrong and the guy who betrayed, like all of that stuff. But No, I think this was obviously like much more character driven with just the core trio. And I really like the development there, and the specifically with Tess being like, I know we unfortunately we won't, I don't anticipate us getting a lot of her moving forward. You never know, but I think they were talking about it after the episode of like, we see her as this like hardened person who's given up and just kind of become you know, a survivor, self-preservation. And then when she does realize at the end that, okay, Ellie is like the key, this is like, this isn't just talk, this is actual substance behind this. That like you see that spark reignite in her quite literally. But did not mean that, but it works. But so I really like the development with what we got with her, even in the short time that we had. And then obviously we know it's going to go Mandalorian mode with Pedro Pascal escorting a child here soon. So I like the budding relationship between them. You obviously saw a lot of progress made just from the start to the finish of episode 2 between the two of them. So I like where we're headed. I don't have any critiques. I do like everything that you guys have talked about. I totally agree that it's hitting on all cylinders as far as, you know, like plot, performances, production design, everything is coming together perfectly here as far as I'm concerned.
One last thing I definitely want to hear about from Jake in particular, because he has the game perspective. I had no idea they were doing all this stuff with the fungus, as far as like the communicative nature of that.
The hive mind.
Yeah,
it's almost,
I thought that was so damn cool.
It was brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. And so I'm curious what you thought about that, as far as like the nature of the adaptation, and that is like a mechanism to build up, you know, tension and all these different elements that you wouldn't have gotten in the game, but now we are in the show, and may see that more going forward too.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, it's I think the brilliance of the little changes and the nuances and the things that they're doing, and I think like the way to sort of visualize those aspects are phenomenal. I mean, you know, because again, it's just based on sort of the things we've heard, it sounds like there probably will not be spores in the first season, which is obviously a major component of the game, and you'd have to put on the mask anytime you see the spores. But I think like creating this again, like it's just another visual change, I think, to allow for a much smoother transition. And you don't, I think that, you know, the part of being a great storyteller, you don't want your audience to have to juggle, right? Like, oh, what is this rule? And like, how does this translate? And oh, did I see this? Why isn't there mask on? But I think to sort of like simply, I think and again, I think it's part of that intelligence, right? Like, I think if you fundamentally understand the story you're telling, as well as the rules and the conventions of the world that you've created, the simplest way to explain that is usually going to be the simplest way for the audience to digest it as well. And usually the simplest way is to do that visually. And, you know, every time that they've, you know, when the sun is going over all of the infected, and they're all turning as if it looks like solar lamps like turning, is just like amazing. And obviously, like, you know, when he shoots the infected in the courthouse or in the state house, and you see
the tendrils,
the tendrils come out, and it's just like, yeah, it's fucking great. I mean, you know, it's not, again, like I think like we talked about before we got online, if this was a world that was real, I'd shoot myself. No chance I'm living, but like, it's great to watch for sure.
Johnny's built different. Johnny's gonna survive.
He's built different. Yeah, he's built different. He's a tank.
Jake's a goner right away. I would probably try to survive and then end up dying very quickly. So Johnny, good luck. Godspeed.
I think I would just start doing like my own version of Jackass in that world, and then like, because I would want to die like stunt diving or something like that, just doing crazy shit.
What?
Like, I'm not gonna do the easy way out.
Quick side note here. Now that we're talking, is what I'm trying to think here. We've got like Zombieland, The Last of Us, World War Z, Army of the Dead. The Walking Dead. What universe do you think you have the best survival odds in? I'd probably go Zombieland.
Oh,
That seems to
bro,
be the easiest.
Dude,
hell
Walking Dead.
no, The Walking Dead, bro. Those zombies are
Walking Dead.
slow
I
as
never
dog
watched. I
shit.
will say I never watched The
Yeah, you
Walking
got you
Dead.
gotta take
So.
the slow zombies, dude.
Yeah, you got it. The Zombieland zombies fast. 28 days later, they're fast. These ones are fucking fast. These Walking Dead, they're slow as fuck. You're good. All you
I'll
need to
take
do is like
Romero
just.
zombies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do Night of the Living Dead. Well, that wouldn't work for me because I don't know if you've seen that. I don't
That's
know if you've seen
besides the
Night of.
point. That's besides
Yeah.
the point, Jake.
I don't know if you've seen Night of the Living Dead, Zach, but there's a pretty needle drop, like pretty kind of ball drop ending in terms of how the black character comes out a lot, or not at all. But yeah, no chance. Last of Us is way low on that list of survivability.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah, this just
think.
seems to be the also just like a very unappealing survival
it
life
seems lame.
versus like because even like Zombieland, like they're still having a good time. Not I don't know if it's like a good time, but like they seem to be having fun, sort of.
Oh, they're having
like,
a lot of fun. Are you kidding me? This Last of Us seems fucking miserable.
Yeah,
Everyone's sad. Everyone's fucking like, oh, woe is me. I have to like, here's another kid I had to burn today. Like, it's
Yeah.
so fucked.
It's real fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's why I got my good friend Clint, my roommate from Carolina. He knew nothing about The Last of Us, and so last week when I was visiting, I was like, "We gotta watch it. You gotta watch it." And so he did. He loved the first episode. So we're gonna make it probably a weekly ritual. I'll get him to watch each episode with me. But I was just telling him like because he loves like he's a big horror buff, so he loves zombie movies and Romero and out of all the zombie media and even just post-apocalypse in general, like I think The Last of Us is like my favorite.
Oh wow.
Wouldn't be the
That's
one I would
awesome.
want to live in, but it's definitely very, very interesting, like the designs and the kind of the infrastructure and everything that they have for the world and the infected in particular. This episode is called The Infected. I think that was very fitting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, any closing thoughts on episode 2 or anything looking ahead to episode 3 or the rest of the season before we move on over to our 2023 draft?
Hey, you tell me, guy who hasn't played the game.
Yeah. What are you thinking? I know that Johnny and I know that there's going to be a real fucking sicko coming up. So
Okay,
just be aware.
Not a prediction, but a question.
Okay.
Is like the game itself, like, is it separated into levels or is it more of like a, because like I saw a tweet saying that like each episode is essentially like a level in the game. Is that accurate or no?
No, it's more broken up by cutscenes. Like it's not like it's not like you
right.
Leave. It's not like you leave the courthouse and then there's like level 3 reach.
Yeah.
I think it's more like the game is way. I mean, the game is basically the show. Like that's kind of really what it is.
And also the game is apart from the actual gameplay element, cutscenes and whatnot. There's a really cool way they break it up via the
seasons.
Seasons essentially.
They do seasons. Yeah.
So
like when did it started?
It starts in summer.
Summer. Yeah. And then and then it goes to fall, and then it goes to winter, and then it goes to spring of the next year. And I think spring is the final.
Yeah. So there's it's I like how they did that in the game, and I'm hoping and thinking we'll get some of that in the show as well. But well, Zach, I was also going to ask you because last week you were asking me some questions as well, and I was trying to avoid. I said I'm not going to spoil it, and I think it was questions more related about the fungus or like the outbreak itself. And I said I think we were going to get more info, so I didn't want to answer it. Did you get more information or answers this week? I feel like you did probably because I think you were actually talking about we might have been talking about the bread or like the flour situation as well, but.
I mean, I don't remember what specifics I was curious about, but like that cold open obviously like answered, like provided a ton of extra information. After the episode of this one helped out a lot of like talking about, I know I've heard from seen online, heard from other people about like the 5 different types of infected. And so like obviously meeting the clickers here, we're going to continue to meet the rest, but seeing the inside the episode was like going into the prosthetics and the look and design of those and like what makes them unique. And I remember I had mentioned last week like really liking the they talked about it, I think they called it like the strands that like come out of the mouth and connect them and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I thought that
Yeah.
was cool. And obviously like the hive mind aspect of it
Yeah.
was very informative. So I feel like I don't like I'm sure there are still questions and answers that are coming, but as
Yeah.
far as like I don't feel like I'm confused about anything at this point.
And I think the last thing I'll say is not to jump ahead too much, but like, as good as this show is, as good as the first game is, part two is like, fuck. It's probably the most extraordinary video game I think I've ever played, from at least from a narrative standpoint. And I think like just the amount of storytelling decisions embedded within part two, and like it's kind of like, I don't want to be like the nerd, but it's like you ain't seen nothing yet, but like truly like as good as this season is going to be, like I midway through season two, which is obviously going to happen, like I'm sure people are going to have trouble even like remembering season one.
Do you foresee this being season one is the entire first game, season two is the entire second game, or is it going to be stretched into more or split up? Or
I think it sounds like at least from what I've heard of like what they've talked about. And again, like I don't think that this is written in stone, and obviously I'm not like Craig Mazin or Neil Druckmann, but it sounds like season two is going to be the part two.
Craig Mazin said that they definitely would not try to do part two all in one season.
Oh, cool. So
I think we're getting at least 3 seasons, I think.
And there's great moments within part two because it is long as fuck. There's great moments within season two to make it at season 3.
Yeah.
Especially, I think there's one moment in part 2 in particular that if they ended that as season 2, that would be the most fucked up thing it is.
Yeah, I think last thing I'll say is the show's amazing so far through the first 2 episodes, and I feel so good because I know the games, of course, but just from what I've seen and heard from people that watch the entire season and know, of course, like what's to come. There's going to be better episodes in this first season than these first 2, and I know that after this first season, there's going to be even greater episodes than that. So it's just going to be a really fun, like I think I said this last week, was just like the next few years of watching this show develop, and it's already exploding as far as popularity. I think it's just going to be a really fun, hopefully pretty universally liked and followed show. So I'm always down for that.
I love it. I'm excited for episode 3 and the rest of the season, but that excitement, that anticipation is leading us perfectly into the 2023 movie and TV draft. It's time to get your game faces on. I don't know about you guys, but I took this very seriously. This afternoon, I sat down and mapped it all out. I've got my first string picks, my second string picks, my third string picks, just in case you guys steal anything. It's very intense. I love doing drafts. We had to bring Jake in to make it competitive because there's so much good stuff coming out in 2023 that if Johnny and I had just done this by ourselves, like we both probably would have been like completely happy with everything that we got and there would be leftovers to spare.
Well, I think there's also things that that I'm going to choose that either of you probably won't be interested in, and vice versa, that will give us a chance, I think, to like talk about more than just like the big things that everybody is excited for, which I think is cool.
For sure. Well, the way this is going to work, we thought about just doing like our top 5 most anticipated movies, most anticipated shows, but we decided to combine it all into this big draft. We will have 10 categories plus a bonus round. I don't know if I mentioned, maybe I did. I think I mentioned it to Johnny. So I might be catching you off guard, Jake, with the bonus round.
Are we just drafting an actor who we think like what is but like what is the criteria for like an actor that we think will explode, an actor that we're excited to see?
Just
like what is
someone that you think? So here, let me break it down, I guess, first, and then we'll get to the bonus. So each person will draft 1 pick in each category. We've got 10 categories and the bonus. Once a title has been selected, no one else can pick it. It's off the board. And we can draft in any order that you want. So it's not like we all have to do this category at the same time. You can bounce around the board. Categories are split 5 TV, 5 movies. So you're picking 2 TV comedies, 2 TV dramas, and that's going to be based on, how it's classified at award shows. because those are the two categories they split it into. And then a TV wild card. So that can be anything, you know, you can go reality TV, you can go another comedy, another drama, anything you want there. And then movie wise, we've got a blockbuster. So just like any sort of big epic, I know we don't know, we'd have to forecast what they're making to see if it actually qualifies to be a blockbuster, but you know what we're talking about. But and then an awards film. So again, forecasting just anything you think is going to be in the awards discussion. Johnny's got the advantage there as the Oscar expert here. One horror / comedy film, one drama film, and one wild card film, which again can be anything. And then the bonus round is an actor or an actress. So just someone that you think is going to have a great 2023. So like cool. It can be someone who's in multiple TV shows, multiple movies, some of both. Just someone that you think is set up for, they could be a breakout star, they could be an established star, just someone that you think is going to have a really good year. So awesome. We will have, I'm pulling up the random generator here to make sure that this is all fair. Do we want to go, I assume we do, but let's make sure. Do we want to go snake draft?
Better share that damn screen.
I can share the screen, don't worry.
I know Zach is gonna try to go first so he can take Copenhagen Cowboy.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. I know, like The Last of Us, we've just been talking about it, but that's still a fair game. Like it can be stuff that's out or currently airing. Just because we're anticipating it doesn't mean that. All right, there we go. Jake first, Zach second, Johnny third. We're gonna go snake draft those. So Johnny, you'll be back-to-back picks to start the second. You'll go finish the first round, start the second round. Okay. So we've got all 10 categories. We'll say, should we agree? We'll do bonus at the end.
Yeah.
So Jake, the board is yours. You've got all 10 to pick from.
I planned this, you see. It was I had hacked into your computer like the Matrix, and I'm glad that my plan worked. Mostly I was desperate to go first because I honestly don't watch a lot of TV comedies, and there are very few that I am aware of. There are very few that I'm watching. There are very few whatever. But since I'm going first, there's one in particular that I'm choosing, and I think Zach, it will be upsetting to you.
Don't do this to me.
In TV comedy, I'm taking The After Party. Yeah. Wait. Oh wait, are you upset or no? I can't tell if
I'm thrilled.
No,
I'm thrilled.
He's thrilled.
I love the first season. I thought it was great. One of my friends is actually show running, Anthony King, who's a North Carolina guy. He's doing season 2 with Lord Miller. He was on season 1 as an EP for it, and he's spoken very highly of it. But I think the first season was excellent. Every episode was a different genre, and the mystery was fun. It was hilarious, and I can't say enough good things about Sam Richardson.
I love.
Is he going to be in season 2?
Yes,
he will be. I saw a screenshot of him. I think
it's Sam Richardson's back. Tiffany Haddish is back as the officer. So those two are like teaming up again, I guess. And then I can't remember the actress's name or the character, but it's Zoe Chow. She was the love interest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those 3 are back from season 1. The rest is a new cast. I know we've got Paul Walter Hauser's in there. Ken Jeong is in there. I can't remember who else, but it's another sort of like star-studded crew here. So that comes back in April, and I'm very excited for it as well. It wasn't going to be my number 1 pick, so I'm okay with that, Jake. I'll allow it.
Okay, great.
But it was definitely on my list as of alternates. But no, it's great. I love the genre blending of, I'm interested to see where they take this second season, because in season 1, you got the musical, you got like the detectives, like what else did we have? We'll have to get like an animated one.
There's the action one. Yeah. There's that. They had the action, the rom-com. Yeah, it was great. I mean, yeah, the first season was great. So April 28th is on Apple, which again, I will once say this is not an advertisement, but Apple, I think, has the best hit rate of any of the streaming services. And After Party is part of part of that hit rate. I think I'm very excited. So I had to draft that first. I don't have a lot of TV comedies, but I have a lot of everything else. So it felt like a strategic play
I respect
to
it.
swoop it. Yeah. So
I respect it. Well, quick question before we get any further in this. As far as undated but expected to release in 2023, what are our thoughts there? Are those fair game, or is it does it
I
have
think
to
it's
have
fair
a date?
game, but if we protest, then we should have a conversation.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, it's a
I
case
th-
by case basis, we'll
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Because some like if you think like if you're trying to like sneak into 2023
Be
and
like,
like
I don't know
nah,
about that
but
one.
Okay.
I mean again like if things are confirmed 2023, we just don't have a date. I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not an issue with my first pick.
Oh
So
wow.
Nice.
Really?
well, Jake gave me a heart attack, so I was planning
I
on
wasn't gonna do that one. No, I
no,
wasn't
I
gonna
was
do that
planning
one.
on,
Yeah.
not going TV comedy right away because I figured that it would be right up my alley and that I could pick it up in like the second or third round, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Stay true to the brand, which is Ted Lasso season 3, to kick off my draft TV comedy number 1. We finally got, after over a year without Lasso, season 2 ended in October of 2021. We've been in a drought. This could be the final season. The world may never know, but everything that we've heard has been that Jason Sudeikis, he took over show running this year because Bill Lawrence hopped over to work on Shrinking. So he's been just like fine tuning everything, because if it is the end, like it has to have the perfect ending. So that's led to a bit of a longer production schedule, but we officially know it's coming back in spring. We don't know. Spring could mean, technically on the calendar, spring starts March 20 something and it ends June 20 something. So 21st, 22nd. So spring could mean we're getting a premiere in June and it could last all summer, but I'm hoping for, something in that like February to May timeframe. We'll see. But I can't be more excited for a show. It's been far too long. And hopefully that means more interviews for Inside the Film Room, because that's been the bread and butter on the interview front. That and Donald Mowat. So
Donnie Mo.
Johnny Mo, that might be a segue for Johnny here as he takes his first pick.
I'm gonna pick for my TV comedy 1, Dune Part 2. No, I'm gonna go ahead and it's probably gonna be a late breaker, most likely, is my thinking on this. And I know there was a little debate about genre fraud earlier, but I gotta go with my boy Barry. Barry season 4.
Of course.
Respect.
Not a comedy, but respect.
Maybe this season will be funnier. You don't know.
No fucking shot.
But this is, it is a very darkly funny show in a lot of ways. It's also very just dramatic and depressing and just flat out dark as well. But I think this is supposed to be the last season. I don't know if that's confirmed necessarily, but I think there's been some rumblings about potentially this could be the last one.
It's so unfair to see at award shows to see Barry going up against like Abbott Elementary or like
what the fuck is that?
Like
so
shows that are still
insane.
so, even against Ted Lasso, like stuff that is so, it's still technically a comedy, but like very tonally different.
It's not right. But I binged the show earlier in 2022. And this was after the 3rd season that came out. I didn't watch that live, but I was blown away. I'd heard a lot of good buzz about it, and I was swallowed up very quickly by the show, and I didn't expect it to go as dark as it has. But I'm glad, because there's just such a great kind of arc for Barry, of course, but then just the other supporting cast, like Anthony Carrigan, who is as NoHo Hank is, I think, one of the greatest television characters of all time.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And
unbelievable.
an exceptional performance as well, of course.
Gene Cousineau too. Gotta respect Henry Winkler.
Yeah, and Henry Winkler. I just hope that these guys like get their due, like actually get some awards maybe before the show ends. But they're always in the mix, and for good reason. And awards aren't everything. They're just putting up like career numbers, as far as I'm concerned, with their performances. And I really don't know where season 4 is going to go. I think that's maybe one of the other interesting points, is where season 3 ends. there's a lot of different directions they could go, and I think that's really exciting. So again, HBO with another banger, another one up on deck.
Someone asked
Good
me the other
choice.
day about if I could only pick one streamer, and I was so torn. Jake has mentioned it, and now Johnny has, between Apple and HBO, because like Apple is just like firing on all cylinders with the originals, but HBO just has such that catalog on HBO Max and like the Sunday night prestige spots on HBO. So it's a hard choice, but I feel like you can't go wrong with either.
It's HBO.
Well, Johnny, you haven't watched like any Apple show except for All Mankind. So
Dude, For All Mankind and Severance. Severance was my favorite show last year.
Oh, Severance was elite.
Okay. All right, Johnny, you're up to kick
back
off
to
your
back.
second round.
Oof. Okay. Damn, I wasn't prepared. I'm gonna go with how fraudulent can I get is my question.
Well, what category are we talking here?
Oh, I know what he's trying to do.
Wait, are we not?
I was going to try.
I get to pick the category?
Yeah, you can like just because like you didn't have to do TV comedy last round. Anybody can pick at any category at any time.
Wait, what?
Yeah. We don't because that you can prioritize your desires here.
Yeah.
So
okay, that makes sense.
Because I was shocked. I was shocked.
Well, yeah, Jake followed up, so I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, that's why you were so shocked, probably.
Yeah, I was shocked that you went TV comedy because I thought there was a clear number one on your radar, and
yeah.
But the back-to-back picks are helping you out here.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can go anywhere.
Word. Okay. Damn, this is tough as hell. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm gonna go with. I mean, we've talked about it all show. I'm gonna plug in my TV drama one. I'm gonna go with The Last of Us.
Of course.
Season 1. It's gonna be the biggest brand new show of the year. Everyone knows it. And it's been, they're hitting 2 for 2. I'm very much been looking forward to it for years, and there's no reason to shy away from it now. And I feel like one of you was gonna take it if I didn't. So
it was my TV drama too. So it wasn't the first pick, but I feel very dirty right now because of what I'm about to do.
Oh, what?
And it's just I have to do it. And I'm going to the awards category.
Ooh.
Because I foresee this winning lots of awards, although it could fit into multiple categories here. Father, forgive me for what I must do.
Damn, that's fucked. That's fucked up.
Sick,
I'm in it to win this draft, but also this
you're fucking sick.
This is Dune Part 2.
Oh,
this is
knife to the shoulder.
I apologize in advance, Johnny.
I will say.
Johnny had he had back-to-back picks.
No. Johnny, I will say I didn't even write Dune 2 as a potential thing I was going to choose.
I would have. To be fair, though, I wouldn't even picked TV comedy one probably if I didn't know we had to pick.
But you could have picked it instead. You could have picked it instead of the last.
I'm chilling.
Hey.
I got my picks lined up. Don't you worry.
Hey, it's in God's hands, Zach. It's in God's hands.
Well, that's all I'm saying. Like, I fully expected Johnny's first pick to be Dune, and then once we explained the rules, once again, he still didn't pick it, and I said he had 2 chances. I got to make my move here because, and I feel like this is not just like a strategic, like I want to have the best list, so I'm picking Dune. Like, I don't host a Dune podcast like Johnny, but I still loved the first movie, was very excited about it, and I'm excited to see the second one. So I still feel like I'm staying true to myself while also making a very strong strategic pick here. So that's my awards pick. Obviously it could have fit into Blockbuster as well, but trying to be strategic with my placement here. So I've got Dune Part 2 and awards.
And then I'm back to back.
Jake's got back to back.
Sick. All right, well, fuck it. In horror, I'm going Maxine. You know that it's come on, the third film in the Ty West X trilogy. What is there to say? I will big flex. My agent is Ty West agent, so just that's pretty cool.
So you're gonna be on the carpet for that, huh?
Dude, I'll be like, hey man, help me out,
Lend me
please.
those tickets.
Let me see the early screening. Um, I saw X in March, uh, after South by. It premiered at South by. I saw it in March. I was levitating for 96 fucking minutes. I thought it was unbelievable. I saw X and Pearl both on 35 millimeter at the New Beverly when Pearl debuted, and Ty West was there, which was fucking unreal. Pearl is fucking sick. I rewatched Pearl recently and I loved it a lot more. X and Pearl, I would get a fucking tattoo right on my fucking face of those movies. They're so good.
Every
It's
frame.
unbelievable. I mean, X, truthfully, X has inspired the horror movie that I'm writing right now. And it's not even remotely similar in terms of tone or anything, but just in terms of like sheer like this is why I go to the movies. I feel it in my bloodstream. Mia Goth is obviously, one of the most extraordinary actors I think I've ever seen in my entire life, and she's obviously been doing this for a little bit, but it's great to have her sort of front and center stage of this trilogy. And Maxine, what can you say? It's in the fucking 80s.
Did you attend the open casting call that they had?
Bro, I don't have TikTok. That was the problem. Maybe I should have downloaded it. And I should have just like put on like shoulder pads and just started like doing like some 80s dance. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of coke. Very fun time. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of killing. Also great. And Maxine, who again, like obviously Pearl, the character of Pearl has obviously gotten a lot of acclaim, but Maxine and X is fucking sick. And it's great that she's going to get her own film. So Maxine is my horror. And then I have two, right?
Yep, second pick.
I got to stick to my guns, baby. And awards, I'm going Ferrari. Come on,
Ooh.
Michael
Hey,
Mann's.
Man up.
Michael Mann's. I'm rolling right now. I'm levitating, man. I got my guys going with me. I got Michael Mann and Adam Driver doing the movie that he's wanted to make for like 20 plus years. Fucking race cars, fucking shot in Italy. It's gonna be unreal. It's Michael Mann's return. Like he hasn't made a feature I think since Black Hat, and he's coming back in a big way. Michael Mann's one of the three directors that have fundamentally changed my life. It would have been criminal on my behalf if I did not choose Ferrari. So Ferrari and awards, baby. Come on.
You set
we're
the
here.
tone early talking about Michael Mann movies and Miami Vice at the start of the podcast. So we should have
Full
seen
circle,
it coming.
baby. Full circle. Come on.
All right. I hate not having a back-to-back pick. Like it's nice being in the middle, so I never have to like I don't know. It's that you guys get those back-to-backs and you can like make your first pick with confidence that you're getting that second pick.
It was
All right.
randomly generated, my guy.
It was. You saw the screen sharing. All right. There's two that I know everybody on here is going to be interested in. So I'm trying to balance which way to go. I think I'm going to go with TV drama, and I'm going Succession season 4.
Nice.
Boom. Good
Another
choice. Good
another
choice.
HBO Sunday night slot. It hasn't missed yet throughout 3 seasons. Bombshell season finale. Tom Wamsgams making power moves. Can't wait to see how that shakes out. How Brutus and Sporus was that their analogy for him? Very excited.
Do you think they kiss in this season?
Tom and Greg?
They have to. Just like once, maybe like a quick one when they're in the inner circle.
I'm ready for the Tom. I'm sure it's out there. The Tom and Greg fan fiction. Like, Tom does not get any love from Shiv, so he needs it somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I can see it. I feel like this was such it was a mandatory choice for me here. I don't know if you guys were gonna take it, but I wouldn't feel right not taking it. So now I'm just hoping I can get that next one that I wanted, but we'll see with Johnny's back-to-back picks here. Decisions.
I feel like I gotta go big.
Mm.
I feel like I gotta go big. Um,
I know what's happening here.
I'm gonna go with. Dang, we got the wild card slot too. Give me under Blockbuster.
Don't do
Give
it.
me Barbie.
Hey, great choice. I was not expecting that. I thought you were gonna go a different blockbuster.
As
Hey,
did I.
hey, we gotta like everyone gonna be crowding into that theater opening weekend. Got your pink on. Gonna be rocking with Margot Robbie, Ryan
Is
Gosling.
this also how you're going to be seeing, like, you're picking Barbie before anybody talks about Oppenheimer? So does that mean you're seeing Barbie before you see Oppenheimer on opening
I'm
night?
definitely seeing Barbie before I see Oppenheimer. That's no question.
Wow.
No question. I gotta see what that script's doing.
I thought you were a
Um,
Nolan stan.
hey, I'll be there. I'll be there. Right after. I'll be walking out.
Back to back, quick outfit change in the parking lot.
Yeah, get my black
Put on
coat
the suit. Yeah, put on the suit.
And then, man, this is. I'm struggling to decide what I'm gonna do next. I feel like I gotta go with in horror comedy. Give me Beau is Afraid.
I
Good
knew I
choice.
did. That was one that I didn't even put on my list because I knew it was going to be on your list. So
Oh, but
also,
Dune was on there, wasn't it?
no, well, that was one. I feel justified picking Dune Part Two. I would not feel justified picking Beau is Afraid compared to you picking
Hey,
it.
respect. But yeah, I mean, Ari Aster might be my favorite horror filmmaker of all time at this point. Two movies in. Um, I know that there's a lot of debate and kind of discourse around him and his movies, but I think Hereditary, I think that's the most scared I've ever been watching a movie. And Midsommar was a very different kind of horror film and honestly very funny, I think, in a lot of ways, even though it's very, very disturbing as well. I think this movie is going to be kind of like a flip side of that, where Midsommar was more disturbing than it was funny, even though there was more humor in it. I think this one may be more going for a darker comedy, but with some more disturbing or maybe
I don't think we talked about it
scary.
since the trailer came out.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah,
the
we didn't
trailer do to affect your excitement for this? Was it more or less what you expected, not what you expected?
it wasn't really what I expected, and I feel like I'm more excited now because I don't really know
It
it
was
too.
very all over the place.
It just looks so epic.
For
And
me, as like a we know like the certain type, it made me nervous because we know this type of movie that doesn't work for me. And after seeing Hereditary and Midsummer, like both of those being like straightforward narratives that like have their twists and surrealism to them, but
yeah,
this one very surreal,
yeah.
so that made me that is why this has dropped a little bit on my list as far as being
Fair
able to
play.
pick it.
Don't worry, Johnny. I'm with you. It looks fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
I'm still excited for it. I still am going to be seeing it opening night, but we'll see. We'll see how far it goes for me. But that is great news for me, though. I got really nervous when you went up to Blockbuster, Johnny, because my two that I was deciding between was, do I go Succession or do I go Blockbuster and go Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One?
Knew it. I knew it.
I was
I
able
knew
to
it.
get away with it.
You fuck.
Great news. Can you imagine a world in which last summer we were supposed to have Top Gun open the summer and Mission Impossible close the summer? Like what a absolute insane blockbuster summer that would have been for Tom Cruise for action movies for Christopher McQuarrie. But we get to space them out. We get it this summer, and I inject the driving the motorcycle off the cliff, inject it into my veins. It's gonna be I could watch that all day. I can watch Tom Cruise telling you to go to the movie theater, hanging off a helicopter all day. I don't think anything else needs to be said about it. I'm all in on Mission Impossible. I need to do like a deep dive into the franchise, rewatch them all before we get into the theater. But I'm so excited for it. I think it's gonna be another after Top Gun. I feel like hype has like the Mission Impossible fans, the action movie fans are going to be there, but also just like the people who fucking love Top Gun, I feel like are going to be packing the theater just for more of that sweet Tom Cruise. But Jake, passing it over to you.
Okay. I got two. So I'm gonna do a movie and then TV. So in drama, I'm gonna go The Killer.
Ooh.
David Fincher's
That was a
new.
high one for me.
I knew it. I knew it. David Fincher, not Kincher. That'd be crazy. Maybe maybe he's the alter ego, the killer. David Kincher. No, David Fincher's new Netflix film featuring Formula One legend Michael Fassbender, who is not an actor anymore, but I think he lends his services when he can, when he fits it into his schedule. But yeah, I mean, is there anything? Do we need to talk about it? I mean, it's David Fincher. He's doing Tilda Swinton and Michael Fassbender, and it's David Fincher with Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven, and it's him going. I think he might be just done with Oscar movies for the rest of his life.
No,
after getting
that's
slighted.
my thing, because I hated Mank so much, and I'm like, but I loved it. Like, I'm all about some Gone Girl, some Zodiac, some set, like the fucking David Fincher murder
Give me the
mystery
dirt.
serial killer. Like, The Killer is perfect. I like a
And
return to form.
those 6 seconds that we saw on that Netflix big dump looks fucking better than 95% of what's coming out. So Killer's got to be it.
That was the first time that I like everything was going to plan for me, and this is the first one that threw a wrench in it, Jake.
I'm the wrecking ball, baby. I'm the fucking X Factor. Come
You're
on.
the killer.
You can't prepare for me. You can't prepare for me. Come on. And I got one more, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So for reasons I cannot disclose, other than I'm very excited about it, and I can say some of it. In TV drama, I'm going Ahsoka. I've loved a fair amount of the Star Wars TV stuff. Obviously, Andor was maybe one of the greatest shows I think I've seen in the past decade.
We finally got Johnny on that.
Oh, did you finish it, Johnny? I don't know if you did.
We have to talk about it, but yes, I did finish it.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
holy shit!
It's like a real show.
Like in so many ways. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just remarkable. Okay, anyway, Andor's great. The Mandalorian is obviously phenomenal, and Ahsoka's obviously the new Disney Plus Star Wars outing from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Everything I've heard about it is very exciting, and yeah, so I'm doing that.
Respect. That was on my list. Not one that I was shooting for, but one that I'm excited for. I'm still catching up with like the Clone Wars, like the animated series, which is obviously where Ahsoka has her roots. So I feel like that's going to be a huge part to play, but very, very excited for that. And I know you have your reasons as well, Jake. But here I am in the middle again. Let's look at the draft board. Oh, man. Decisions. My TV's coming along nicely. I've got one in each category. Need to get another movie on the board. Now, this is one that was my second string blockbuster, but because Jake took drama with The Killer, I'm going to try and finesse it in here at drama. But tell me if I'm yeah, tell me no. I think, man, okay,
but if it's the movie I'm thinking about, it's definitely a drama.
I'm gonna go. This is not. I'm changing my plan here because I think I can get the one that I want later. No. We're good. Okay, I'm sticking to it. Creed 3 as a drama.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Should we go with it?
That's definitely a drama,
Okay,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make
drama,
sure.
but still, you fucked though. That was gonna be my blockbuster.
See, that's why I had it at blockbuster too.
I shouldn't have waited.
Well, you got David Fincher. Come on now.
I know.
That's
it's
true,
eye for an eye. It's Hammurabi up in this bitch.
No, Creed 3. First Creed, one of the best sports movies of all time. Absolutely electric. Second Creed, not nearly as good as the first one, but still good. But the IMAX like behind the scenes trailer experience for the third one like had me standing up out of my seat. Like what you see for Marvel movie reactions, like that was me beating my chest during this. So I'm all in. We get to see Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. So that's gonna be, this is obviously like a story that's very personal to him. He's been tied to it for years doing this franchise. So, and Jonathan Majors, like absolutely yoked. Just, I would not want to, if we're talking about surviving zombies, I would not survive Creed if I'm going up against Jonathan Majors. But no, he looks fantastic. The movie as a whole looks amazing. I'm ready to the thing about the Creed movies that's so good is that it feels like, it truly feels like you're watching like a boxing match. Like the way they like channel like basically like an HBO primetime fight on in the movie, like it's so authentic. And oh, chef's kiss. I'm sorry I stole that from you, but
It's okay. It's okay.
had to do what I had to do.
I'll handle it in the parking lot. It's all right.
Okay, Jonathan
We'll
Major.
All
right,
you
Johnny.
remember me?
I'll get off my car.
I'm coming for everything.
Oh man. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? I think I gotta plug this in for, hey, this movie's gonna win a lot of awards. It's gonna be nominated for a lot of awards. For my awards section, thinking Across the Spider-Verse.
Hey,
No.
great. That's a great segue. That's a great shift, because I wasn't expecting that. That's
Yeah,
good.
thank you. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, very, very highly anticipated sequel. Gonna be like 4.5 years removed from the first one, which was like, it did fine at the box office, but like really was like a cultural, like online and like with movie fans and Spider-Man fans, like a phenomenon. It has like grown, I think, considerably in the last few years. And so I'm hopeful that this one can live up to that hype, although I'm a little scared about shifting talent behind the camera and at the helm and everything. But I think the style looks very cool still, and they got some really cool casting choices for a lot of the different Spider people. So I'm thinking that that's going to be a good kind of first half of the year. At least I think it comes out in June. That'll be a fun. It's like a family movie, but it's also like a superhero movie, and it's going to be hopefully on the level of the first one, and probably get another Oscar. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in for drama. Oh boy, I think I got to rock with my guy. Gonna throw it back to my guy Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer.
You're going for the July 21st special or whatever day that is.
Yeah.
You got
We're
Barbie
going-
and Oppenheimer.
We mentioned it a couple times already. I did mention the double header. So let's just make that official. Oppenheimer. I'm one of the people that really didn't like Tenet at first. Even though
you drove hours for it.
I drove 8 hours round trip.
I drove 8 hours round trip to see it too. No
Yeah, we
worry.
were on the
We're in
phone
same
after,
boat.
if you recall, for a little while.
I will say I rewatched it and I liked it a lot more the second time.
Yeah, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now, and it just gets better. It's Nolan is someone who I've grown up with, and I'll always be excited for his movies, really, no matter what. So, but this one I was looking forward to it. I like the talent and everything, but the special IMAX preview that was exclusive to theaters, that got me really buzzed about it. And I think the IMAX footage looks incredible. Of course, Hoyt van Hoytema doing the cinematography, Ludwig Göransson back doing the score. I'm excited to see what he does in his second round with Nolan. And then the cast is, phenomenal. Top 3 of the entire year probably as far as the talent and names in there. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's not going to be a conventional. I wouldn't expect anything from Nolan to be conventional, but not a conventional drama or historical picture or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Hopefully the box office can hold up against the Barbie fandom, but we'll see.
Word.
Respect. I'm upset about the Spider-Verse pick. I was hoping to snag that in
Hey,
wild card,
Tough shit.
but I know I can't be too upset after Dune.
Just a
Oh.
brutal thing in the beginning. That was tough.
All right. Well,
Let's hear it.
let's see. I'm gonna go TV drama, but I need this is with the stipulation, doesn't have a date yet. Expected 2023, Severance season 2.
Mm.
Do we
Ooh,
allow it?
I think I'm gonna have to throw the flag on that one.
I don't have they even
They're-
started shooting
They're
it?
supposed to
Yeah,
be.
they've been in production since like
Oh, okay, okay.
I was researching this though in the event of this happening, and I saw they started filming like November or whatever, but they're not supposed to be done filming until like May. And when the first one, like the first season, they finished filming in like June, and then the show didn't come out until like 9 months later. So I feel like realistically, the season's probably even bigger, most likely. I don't know if they're
all I know is that when you Google Severance release date, all of those like websites that pop up with like
Hey.
everything we know about Severance season 2, it's like expected
I'm not-
release date in
I'm not trusting the
2023.
Screen Rant contributor. Sorry.
It's
I mean, I
I'm
don't know.
okay. I'm okay being overruled. I want to
I
I want to
think
be
no,
fair.
I think that I think so. I think that's fine. I mean, like
You know
I
what?
just don't
I'm
think
not gonna.
I don't think there's
not-
any way of knowing.
I think it's too gray to say that it's definitely.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's fair, John.
I
Yeah.
respect it. I
Yeah.
respect that. I don't want to have an asterisk by my name when I win this draft. I want to
Yeah.
do
I
it
respect
fair
the
and
attempt,
square.
though. I respect the attempt.
So in that case, I may switch categories now since I was anticipating Severance being a hot topic among this group. So let's see. In TV, no, do I want I've
You got
got
like
one
30 shows. He's looking.
I've got TV comedy, TV drama, TV wild card all left, then horror comedy, which you guys have both picked in, so I'm fine to wait there. And then wild card for movies. So
I do have a question. Well, here you pick, and then I'm going to ask a question. That's fine,
okay, let's see. I'm gonna go TV wild card, switching it up here, and go with The Mandalorian season 3.
Ooh.
Hey.
Everyone's getting their Star Wars on the board.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
after
missing
you
it.
went with Ahsoka, made me nervous. No, season 3, it's coming soon. Need more Pedro Pascal. Johnny's already got him over there in The Last of Us, so I needed my fix as well. But you know, it's been a long time. It's been over 2 years. It will be over 2 years, I think, since the last season. But we got a little glimpse of him in a couple episodes of Boba Fett. It was the only good part about Boba Fett was the 2 essentially Mandalorian episodes. But I'm excited for it. Love what they've done with this character with the show. So that's my TV wild card.
Boom.
Jake, question. What is your question?
So are we the blockbuster? Do we expect it to be a blockbuster, or has it been made with a blockbuster budget?
I think both.
I think either or, yeah.
It can be either. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's
What's
see.
we got for this?
I'm gonna do blockbuster. Oh, fuck.
You got back-to-back picks, remember?
No, I know. I'm just like, which blockbuster? Because you guys took some good ones.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. Killers of the Flower Moon. Put that bitch on the board.
Damn.
Another
you guys
Apple
said-
TV.
Well, because it's. I mean, it's that was why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because like I wasn't sure because
Well,
it's
I
probably
knew
not
that's
gonna.
why.
It's probably not gonna be theatrical, but fucking $200 million budget. I was like, that's got to be put into consideration.
Apple
Martin
TV
Scorsese.
stays winning.
Yeah, it's Martin Scorsese. I think that's kind of enough. I don't really need to say anymore. So
That's a strong the fact that you were able to get The Killer, Ferrari, and Killers of the Flower Moon, like 3 strong dramas, but across multiple
Come on.
categories. That's
I'm the
solid
guy.
acting.
This is 160 IQ, baby. Come on. Okay, thank God I got that because holy shit, that's gonna be so good. In drama, in TV drama, Uh, I think I'm gonna go Hello Tomorrow. I'm
Respect.
just
Hey,
across the board. I'm just repping my guy. That's what's going on. I'm just
You're
like,
you said it's not an ad, but you're looking very Apple TV Plus heavy.
look, it's not my fault they make good stuff. That's not my problem. Hello Tomorrow for my another subtle flex on analogy, but Billy is a legend in the Lawler household. He's we've been very close for years. I'm very excited. I know Zach, you've already seen the first episode. But everything that he told me about it before I saw any footage made me really interested. Like I love the retro futurism stuff. Gattaca is one of my favorite movies, and obviously Gattaca is a different a different aesthetic thing to this, which is obviously much more like the Jetsons or For All Mankind or something. But all those, like, For All Mankind is another show that I really love. Again, Apple. I promise this isn't an ad, guys.
Apple is low key dominating
Um,
sci-fi. Apple is so great at
no,
sci-fi.
they're sick. They're sick. But yeah, I mean, it looks really remarkable. Everything that Billy's told me about it has made me very excited. Everything that you've said, Zach, from what you've seen, has made me excited. And it's produced by Ryan Khalil and Blake Griffin. And Ryan Khalil,
What a
Charlotte legend.
combo.
Isn't that crazy? Who would have
What a
thought?
combo.
A couple of athletes making the transition. Love to see that.
That's gonna be us one day, Jake.
Yeah. Man, I'm juiced for that. It looks good.
And that's a February release, so not too far
Yeah,
away.
it's coming soon. Coming soon.
The 1-2 punch of Shrinking and Hello Tomorrow on Apple, that's gonna be fantastic. Which leads me into my pick. I've talked so much about Shrinking, and I'm like, I love it. I can already tell it's gonna be one of my favorite shows of this year, like, because it's that strong. Which makes me like, I've already talked so much about it. I've already watched it all. So I'm like hesitant to, like, I want to be different and like pick something new, but at the same time, like, it's so good. So I'm torn right now. Because there's one comedy that I'm very intrigued by, but I don't think I know enough about it to fully commit. So I'm gonna stick with Shrinking. I'll reveal this extra comedy if once everybody gets their picks in TV.
I'll go ahead and reveal it now.
I mean, sure. I guess I'll help you guys out. The Curse. It's on Showtime. It is the Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie show. If it's got Nathan Fielder in it, like, it's gonna be the premise. Let me pull it up. The Curse.
I so badly wish that show was on HBO. Because I don't know how I'm going to be pulling up Showtime to watch it.
You got to get that 30-day free trial.
Yeah.
I don't know when it releases.
You can do it on Prime, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Showtime through Prime.
Apple has a free trial on it as well. This is the synopsis here. A genre-bending scripted comedy that explores how an alleged curse disturbs the relationship of a newly married couple as they try to conceive a child while co-starring on their problematic new HGTV show. The scripted part makes it less exciting for Nathan Fielder, but I still like, he's still so funny that I'm sure it's going to be a blast. But another show, well, I still have a drama left, so I'm not going to give it away yet, but that was my that, and even
Zach's hurting that he can't pick two in a row.
I wish there were like 6 different TV comedy selections I could pick here. We can do a roundup after everybody picks of like honorable mentions and stuff. Okay, yeah. Maybe I messed up picking The Mandalorian instead of one of my additional comedies, but all right, Johnny, you're up.
Oh, man, you guys don't make it easy.
Come on.
I gotta go. I gotta get back to my TV group, I feel like. Let me go TV drama. One of my most anticipated seasons of TV in a while. The show's been off the air for a little bit.
You bastard.
Gotta go with Invincible.
Fuck.
Season 2. Oh man, this first season, was it 2 years ago now, 2021?
Yeah.
Rocked my world. I really didn't know anything about the source material, and it it got its hooks in me pretty quick with that ending of episode 1. And I was along for the ride from there, and it can be pretty funny at times, but it is definitely more of like, I would say, like a more like dramatic show. And definitely, I mean, it made me cry at the end, like by the time the finale came around. So it's I'm excited to see. I'm nervous probably as well to see what's going to happen. But I and the teaser just dropped as well, so it's on my mind, and the animation looks like it took a big jump. So I'm excited to see more of that. But it says late 2023, so I know definitively it's coming out this year, which is good. And then let me go with I'm just gonna finish off the movies. Fuck it.
Wild card.
Give me Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I knew that was coming at some point from you. It was
Yeah.
low on my list, but
James
I
Gunn.
figured it was one of yours.
James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, arguably the best MCU movie. So good. And I'm excited. I mean, James Gunn, he's just on like kind of an unprecedented role on the moment within the genre, both with movies and shows. I love the Suicide Squad, and was a big fan of Peacemaker as well. Now he's heading up DC. Maybe, fingers crossed, we'll get some announcements this week. But I don't get very excited for Marvel anymore, or MCU, as you both know very well. But this one is one of my more anticipated comic book or superhero movies.
I was about to point out, I know we had Spider-Verse, that's semi, not MCU, but still superhero. 22nd pick overall. The first MCU title gets on the board. What a change from the last couple years as far as just like
not even a
face
show.
for the excitement. Yeah. There was one show that was far down my list, but like still could be an alternate, but you still got a wild card up there, Johnny, so you might take it. I don't know. You big MCU stan.
You know how it goes. I'm killing the superhero and comic book stuff up here though.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
even try to do it.
I think he's pandering to the
Twitter
audience.
pandering. I said he's got his haters.
He's got the lonely
I lost
beagle.
all my Dune stands, so
he's trying to make amends.
The lonely beagle. All right. My turn, right?
It's me, right?
No, John, I'm middle. Johnny
Jack's in the
just did
middle.
back to back. So
Oh, okay, that's right.
nice try.
all right, so I've got
Fuck.
I've got my second TV drama, I've got horror comedy, and I've got a movie wild card. You guys have picked horror comedy, so I'm saving that for last. Unless you pick what I want in your wild card, but let's see. So TV drama. I'm gonna go TV drama. This is a hard choice. On the one hand, you guys have already picked your TV dramas, so I'm just gonna thought process out loud. On the one hand, we've got Yellow Jackets season 2.
Unreal show.
Great show. Very fucked up. Johnny, get your showtime so you can watch season 1.
I gotta time it up now. Apparently,
Yeah,
Yellow Jackets is so good. Holy shit.
So that's the one hand. I know that. I know it's good. I know that season 2 is going to be good. The Unknown, Masters of the Air, another Apple TV Plus. This is the World War II. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks producing. Austin Butler and Barry Keoghan. Is that how you say it? I always struggle.
yeah.
Johnny, let me know. Okay.
Ian, I don't know.
I don't know. Irish folks.
With all due respect.
All due respect to Ireland. But those two leading with the prestige of a Spielberg and Tom Hanks leading the way, and then you've got 2 stars and an ensemble cast set in World War II. And it's on Apple. It's got that going for it, so it's going to be quality. I'm gonna go you know what, I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna go with Masters of the Air.
Boom.
So
Nice.
for I don't know if you guys have wild card. Jake, you could snag Yellow Jackets season 2 if you needed to, but
I'm thinking about it. When okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go wild card. I think TV wild card is gonna be easier first, so I'm gonna make that. I'm doing Gen V. the new
Ooh,
Boys spinoff.
nice.
It looks that first look they shared looks fucking sick. I think all of us are fans of the Boys. Um, and everything that I've been hearing about it has been very, 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 very good. So yeah, that one's gonna be that seems like an easy choice for me.
You got
And
comedy and movie wild card left.
that's right, that's right. This is the hard thing about the two picks is that you're trying to
And
figure
we're
because then
getting
it's
down to the wire here. Everybody's
I
got
know
two categories left.
because it's a long wait if you don't get it. Uh, I'm trying to think. Do I want to? Because I'm no, I'm not winning. There's no chance anyone, no one is going to vote for
Hey,
my lineup. So I'm
you
trying to figure
play.
out like what's going on. No,
You
I'm
do
playing to
you,
me. That's
Jake.
what I'm
You do
saying. That's
you.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm already playing to me. I might as well keep going. But okay, yeah, I got to do it. Miyazaki's How Do You Live? Doing that in wild
Nice.
card. Again, it's kind of like a similar thing with Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, what is there really to say about the career of one of the greatest directors of all time? And I'm not going to specify animation directors because
Yeah.
it's not there. No, he's truly one of the greatest. And he's coming out with a new movie. Holy shit. Isn't that sick? Everyone thought he wasn't coming back. Like there was speculation that Ponyo was going to be his last movie, and here he is. He's back again. So I got to do it. I'm very excited for that.
Respect. All right. I've got horror comedy and wild card movie left. So wild card. Lots of leftovers on my draft board here. I'm gonna go Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for a wild card here. I had it as my third tier blockbuster, but
That was on my list too.
But as we got down to the wire here, I had some other honorable mentions in the I'm actually skipping over what I had as my second tier wild card, which I don't think either of you were going to take it. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Jake, catching fire hive.
Fucking
You know how
rocks.
we rock
Hell
it,
yeah.
baby.
Hell yeah. Catching Fire, baby. Sick
So
movie.
same director that did all of the original Hunger Games movies. And I read the book for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Rachel Zegler's in there. So that was more curiosity and hope, I guess. But I'm going Indiana Jones. Potentially one last ride, I would imagine, for old Indy. Got just insane CGI de-aging techniques that are going to be in play here. Phoebe Waller-Bridge in there, man. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a step up from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Hopefully, send Indy out on a high note. But
Bro, you're forgetting the legend Boyd Holbrook. Come on now, the guy.
I have
You're
no
not a
idea who
Boyd
that
Holbrook
is.
guy? What?
No.
No.
Mads Mikkelsen's in there though.
Oh yeah, you know him. Yeah, he's good. No, Boyd Holbrook from Logan.
He's the guy with the robot hand.
Yeah, he's the country guy.
I haven't seen Logan in forever.
In the trailer,
You
he's
see his
riding the
face.
horse in New York, like chasing after
Yeah.
him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's got the horrible haircut in the movie.
Yes.
In the trailer.
Yeah. Damn.
Looks like Bart Simpson. But
Respect to Boyd. Did not mean any offense.
Damn. The
All
Boyd
right.
stands are gonna be pissed, bro.
The Boyd Hive. Johnny, back to back.
Zach, go ahead and just make your last movie pick, and then I'll finish out with my TV picks.
Well, Jake still got his TV pick too.
Oh shit.
Yeah, okay. I got one more.
I mean, I can go ahead and do my movie since you guys are all done with your movies.
Yeah, you can go ahead and finish up.
Yeah.
All right, horror comedy. We're going horror. I guess it's kind of both, but I'm going Scream 6.
Ooh,
sick.
The new trailer looked fantastic. We're getting Ghostface outside of Woodsboro for the first time. Scream 5 was number 10 on my top 10 of last year. So very excited for this revitalizing of the franchise, and can't wait to see some it looks like it's like upping the intensity quite a bit from the last one. So I'm excited. It won't have to wait too long. That's coming in March.
Listen,
But-
I love it when horror legends go to New York, man. Anybody seen Jason Takes Manhattan? No.
Was that Friday the 13th 8 or something?
Hey, come on, baby. I think it is 8 actually. Great show. No, it's yeah.
Okay, here I go. TV comedy 2. This is it's not cheating, but I still need to get caught up with this show. Because obviously
you can still be excited about it. Yeah.
I've heard nothing but great things, and it is next on my list, hopefully to knock out sooner rather than later. But it's going to be The Bear.
Boom.
Season 2.
Respect.
Be coming out this summer, I believe, or middle of the year. So I got plenty of time to get caught up. But people are
Yes,
just raving
chef.
about it. Yeah, people just raving about it. I really don't know too much about the premise other than the whole chef aspect of it. So I'm excited to see more and find out.
You haven't seen the first season?
I'm currently
Oh,
watching
shit.
the first season too, so I'm behind as well.
It's good. It's really good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
so I'm excited. I'm sure Reagan and I will knock that out here pretty quickly. And then my TV wild card. I mentioned this to Zach earlier today, and then I felt kind of silly because I threw something out there that he could have used against me. But it's a little bit more of like a sleeper choice, I guess I would say, which is why it'll be my wild card. I'm going with Wool for Apple TV Plus. Really, it's another sci-fi series, and it's based on an acclaimed book. So I'm excited to find out more about what the world of this thing is going to be like. But
Lady
I really,
Jessica.
yes, Rebecca Ferguson finally getting some of what she deserves. She's like been kind of more like supporting and like in movies and whatnot, but she's gonna get her own series to lead, so I think that's gonna be pretty cool. And there's some good supporting like actors in there as well. So I don't know too much about it, but it's sci-fi. It's Apple TV Plus. I love For All Mankind. I love Severance. I'm looking forward to Hello Tomorrow. So I think
isn't there a new season of For All Mankind coming this year, and you didn't pick it? Or is
I would have picked that, but there's no guarantee though that it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything about.
They do a lot of
season
effects
4.
on that show too, so I'm a little.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be early next year, maybe. But
And their,
now,
their
if
budget
it's
keeps
coming out this year,
rolling.
that would be in here for sure somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'll go with the Wool just because I know it's definitely a sure thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully people will come in. They'll do some decent promotion for it, and people will actually get on board. I think that's the one thing Apple is missing. I feel like they're not getting the attention. But that
Unless Zach
They
doesn't
needed
interview.
Timmy C.
Hey,
They needed
Timmy C throwing his weight around, helping out a little bit. So
Come on.
I'm excited. Looking forward to that one.
Is it me? Yeah, wrapping up. So I have another question. So after I pick this, do we reset the order for the bonus round?
Yeah,
Because we
we'll
waited till the end, then we'll just do one like me, Zach, Johnny, or because we kind of like fucked the order on the last like 3 picks.
do we want to do a new randomization for the bonus round?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
That'd
Yeah,
be great.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know who
Yeah,
I'm.
we can just randomize it. TV comedy I'm doing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this one, but it's a kind of a deep cut. It's I'm a Virgo. It's Boots Riley's new Amazon Prime TV show. I didn't think you guys were aware of it, so I'm gonna.
No.
So it's Boots Riley, who obviously did Sorry to Bother You from 2018, which was one of the most insane fucking movies of all time. But here's the Jarrell Jerome is the lead, who is obviously from When They See Us, and is just a remarkable actor. But it's about a 13-foot tall black man named Cootie, who was born that height, tragically killing his mother in childbirth. He was kept inside all of his life by his adoptive mother, who sought to shelter Cootie from the world, which she knew would hate and fear her son. Eventually, Cootie breaks out and becomes something of a local superhero, but a villain to the masses. So it sounds like just as weird, just as like socially conscious, just as strange, just as interesting as Sorry to Bother You. And I'm anything with Jarrell Jerome. I want to check out anything with Boots Riley, especially a long-awaited follow-up. I think it's been 6 years since Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah.
But it's having its premiere at South by Southwest, and then I think it's dropping sometime in the summer this year. So I wanted to talk about that, make some more people aware of it because it's coming out. So I'm very excited.
Wasn't on my list. You made me aware of it.
Come on, baby.
Hype for that.
So here we are at the end of the draft in the bonus round. The new list has been randomized. Zach, Johnny, Jake to close us out. Got my pick of the litter here for an actor or an actress who I think is just going to have a great year. Much to think about. I had 3 solid picks here lined up.
Do we think that there's a unanimous number one?
I think as far as I think
let's why don't we pick and then we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. Again, Father, forgive me. I'm going Timothy Chalamet. Okay. Johnny gives the wave.
Well, because the reason why I'm asking because I know who Johnny's picking.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I'm almost certain. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
I thought Johnny would either pick Timothy or my second, which I won't reveal yet. But Timothy Chalamet, obviously, we talked about Dune Part 2 already. He's got Wonka, a movie that was an honorable mention on my list. Did not get drafted by anyone. Got an Apple TV Plus commercial. Maybe we're gonna hear some news about him being on an Apple TV Plus show soon after that commercial. But he has consistently been on the right. Like, he's not a rising star. He is a star at this point, but just like year after year, the last 4 or 5, it's just been like nonstop for him. So I think it's just going to continue this year. So
hey, good pick.
Johnny,
Put
you're
some
up.
respect on my man's name here.
Oh, I forgot to put the accent mark on.
yeah, come on now. Come on.
No,
Big
that's
Tim.
that's a good pick. He was definitely up there for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and represent my lady Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh wow, that's not who I was expecting.
She is, like I mentioned just a moment ago, she's going to be the face of that new Apple TV Plus series Wool, again, which I'm really looking forward to. And then she's going to be in 2 of the biggest films of the entire year. She's going to be of course, once again, the lead in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. She's been sensational over the last 7-8 years in that franchise, from Rogue Nation to Fallout, of course, and which is how I discovered her. And hopefully she'll have more badass stuff to do. It looks pretty good so far. We saw an eye patch in the trailer, so I'm liking that. And some sword fighting. So that's going to be really cool. And then, of course, Dune, Lady Jessica. She's not going to probably be as prominent as she was in the first movie, I'm assuming, because we know Zendaya and Shawnee is going to be more of a force in this one, maybe as the lead, but she's still going to be significant. And I'm excited to see her continue like in that universe as that character. So I think she's suited to have a big year, and hopefully more people will, give her some attention.
For sure. That's a solid pick. Bring us home, Jake.
Well, so because I was picking third and I thought one of you was going to pick, we're going to pick this actor. I had a backup strategy.
I have a prediction.
Oh, I'm sure you know who it is. I mean, fucking Jesus Christ probably does. But so I'm picking the person that fell to me, but I do want to shout out before I pick my backup strategy, who was going to be Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Whoa.
Just because, so I've seen Chevalier. It comes out in April. I saw it at TIFF.
You saw it like 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it's like 6 months ago. But it's coming out theatrically, which is great. The trailer looks great. I've seen the film. It was if it had come out last year, it would have been in my top 3 of last year's films of 2022. I think the film itself is great, but Kelvin Harrison Jr. for years, I think, especially internally between like us and our group chat, I've been banging the wall because he's in my opinion the most extraordinary young actor that we have. Every performance I've seen from him is like just groundbreaking, breathtaking stuff. And his best performance, I think, honestly, might be in Chevalier from what I saw. I had never seen him so suave yet so devastated and so internally repressive. And it's just, I mean, it's a extraordinary performance. I wanted to shout that out. I'm not picking him, but I do hope that becomes an awards play or something that people see.
I feel like it's safe to say that we did not have a consensus number one.
No. Well, my unanimous is I thought everyone was going to be like, "What's the Jonathan Majors trade, baby? What's going on here?"
I thought about him. I thought
Might
about
be the
him.
MCU hurting him a little bit. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie.
look, listen. The guy is okay. First of all, he's about to have one of the most divisive movies of all time, apparently, in Magazine Dreams. From a friend that saw it at Sundance, said it was a lot, and I think that was sort of the reaction, that the movie's a lot, and I think it's pretty divisive in terms of if it's good or if it's bad or if it's something somewhere in between. What sounds like the resonating thing about it is that Jonathan Majors is from another planet, and I think that that's been true for a while. He was the best actor in Last Black Man. He gives one of the most striking brief performances in Five Bloods. For my money, he was the best actor I saw a year in Devotion of last year. And he's doing Magazine Dreams, which is like his Taxi Driver, Raging Bull. He's doing Creed 3, and he looks like a fucking movie star in that. He's doing Quantumania, which, I mean, like, is a movie that's coming out, sure, but he's
That's a good pick.
I mean,
I'm sure he's going to be the best part of that.
He's doing small indie, big sports, and then big superhero genre IP thing. So I think he's primed to have a tremendous year, and I'm very excited to see all three of those films.
Yeah,
or him in all three of those films.
I thought about it's very important correction. I thought about him as well. He was on my list. I didn't know enough about I knew just like the divisiveness of Magazine Dream, so I wasn't like sure if we could count that as a pro or a con. And then same for Ant-Man, but definitely I drafted Creed, so I feel like that's solid. I also had my second tier pick was going to be Pedro Pascal with Mandalorian and The Last of Us. That would be solid. And then I also had Harrison Ford on here for Shrinking and Indy. So
I'll throw a couple other names that I had on my list out there. I had Chalamet was on mine, of course. Jonathan Majors was on my mind as well. And then coming off of his Oscar nomination, Austin Butler will be in Dune Part 2, of course, which I'm really excited for. He's also going to be in Masters of the Air, Zach, which you picked and mentioned. And then I believe this will probably come out this year. I think they were even talking about a Cannes premiere. But The Bike Riders.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Jeff Nichols' film with a very impressive ensemble, which I'm looking forward to. And then we got Zendaya, Dune Part 2, and Challengers, Luca Guadagnino's next film, which probably be at Venice.
Thought
maybe
about her.
Joaquin Phoenix and Beau is Afraid, which I picked, and then also Napoleon, probably looking at another Oscar nomination, most likely. And Napoleon's another Apple advertisement there.
Come on, baby.
And then
Apple, call me.
And then, of course, Florence Pugh in Dune Part 2, which will be a smaller role, but then I think she's going to be more significant in Oppenheimer. So,
see, that was my thing. I didn't know, she's obviously I feel like more in Dune Messiah than in the first Dune, like Princess Cerulean is. And then I wasn't sure what the significance of her role would be in Oppenheimer. So I was like, I wanted to go her. She's also in a very small movie with Morgan Freeman, directed by Zach Braff, because I was like really looking to make the case to pick her because I love Florence Pugh. But then I watched the trailer for that movie and I was like, I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if this is the one.
Do we want to talk about any things that we left off that we want to mention in any of the categories?
I
will say the only reason why I didn't pick Infinity Pool is because I'm seeing it in like 2 days, and I was just like, that's pointless for me to pick. But,
let's see. I mentioned Wonka. That was one that I thought might get picked, but did not. Napoleon was also on there that Johnny just mentioned.
Yeah.
We already talked about Yellow Jackets and The Curse. Those are both on my list. Loki season 2. I know, Johnny, that was very big for you, so I thought you might sneak that in there somewhere. Jake, I believe you watched it. Righteous Gemstones.
No, I haven't seen it.
I thought you had Danny McBride comedy on HBO.
Yeah,
Absolutely hysterical. Season 3 is coming out this year, and it's like the most ridiculous. Like, it's this super mega wealthy family that owns a mega church. John Goodman, Danny McBride, Adam Devine. It's absolutely hysterical. Walton Goggins is fantastic in that.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Outer Banks.
I thought about
I thought you were
Outer
locked in on
Banks
that.
season 3 and You season 4, but I was like, that's too much filth and too much of like low quality trash in one draft.
I don't know, man. Madeline Klein's in Outer Banks. I don't think there's nothing low quality about
and Armando Baycott this season. Shout out to the Heels.
Oh, is he in it?
He as part of an NIL deal, because the showrunner is a
so
UNC
funny.
alumni.
Oh,
He plays a character named Mondo, very creative. My friend Avery has seen the first 5 or 6 episodes, I believe, and said he wasn't in any of those, so he's gonna have to come in second half of the season.
He's a late season swing, yeah.
Shake things up. Movie wise, Fast 10. I've got my Vin Diesel shirt on right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't read that up.
Thought about pulling, that would have been my drama category because it's a strong family drama. The Flash and John Wick 4 were also, those were like bottom of the barrel wild cards if I got really desperate.
Nice.
But those were all the ones that did not get picked on my list.
No, those are good. I mean, a lot of those I was thinking about as well. Jake, you said Infinity Pool.
Yeah, Infinity Pool. I'm so fucking excited for it. I'm seeing it. That's like, there's no reason for me to pick it because I was going to see it too soon. But I'm very excited for Evil Dead Rise, which is having its premiere at South by. I recently watched the Fede Alvarez Evil Dead remake, which was quite gruesome, which I had a great time with. And Knock at the Cabin. I'm an old fan. You guys are not old fans. Old is fucking sick.
Knock at the Cabin looks solid.
M. Night is the guy, the most underrated, disrespected director of the 21st century. He's the guy. He's coming hot with his movie.
He's got some source material to pull from, so hopefully he'll do a little bit better with that. But I guess he did that for Old too, but I don't know.
Come on, old elite. But yeah, Knock at the Cabin looks really good. So.
It does look good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll be that Infinity Pool and that will probably be my first 2 movies of the year. But yeah, those are all sounding good. Napoleon was definitely high up there for me. Wonka was definitely up there as well. How Do You Live? I thought that was a great one. Jake. Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things.
Yep. I was thinking about that too.
Killers of the Flower Moon, of course, in there. The Killer, which you got. And then I know no one was going to pick this, and I never would have picked it. But Aquaman, not that far off for me. I love me some Aquaman. Love me some.
That could have been a wild card.
I liked the first one. I thought it was a great time. I had a great time with the first one. Yeah.
So and then I also mentioned
that'll be one last ride for the DCEU, I believe.
Hey, we don't know. It's blows my mind to think that we're actually getting this Flash movie like in a few months. Like, I still can't wrap my head around that. But
is Blue Beetle coming out this year?
Yeah, August.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
So plenty of good stuff this year. I mean, there's a whole lot that we haven't mentioned, of course, and stuff that we haven't even heard about yet, probably that's in the works. But that, and then Severance could be out this year. For All Mankind could be out this year. So a lot of shows as well that should be on people's radars that and things that maybe have been overlooked. Even Severance, I think, was the best show last year, and I feel like not nearly enough people are talking about it.
Crazy to me. It's so good.
I'm gonna retroactively amend my draft to pick in the blockbuster category, the awards category, the horror comedy category, the drama category, and wild card. Cohesively, I'm picking Megan because it fits the bill for all of those. And Megan is also my bonus actress for the year.
I don't know if that argument holds water for the awards category necessarily, but
just you wait.
We'll let it slide.
Well,
look at that chart. That chart's looking damn good, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on here.
Now we have to put it to the people to vote to see who's got the best. They
Bro,
let the campaigning begin.
Yeah, there's gonna be 6 votes for me. I'm just looking at it right now. Hey,
Hey,
I'm
but-
me though. I'm me.
Yeah,
baby.
you
Come
stayed
on.
true to yourself. I think we all did here, so I'm proud
Yeah.
of us. Go team. But there
Good
you
stuff,
have it.
fellas.
The 2023 movie and TV draft. Regardless of who wins, we know that it's going to be a great year for movie and TV based on this alone and all the stuff we didn't even get to. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening week in and week out. And thank you, Jake, for coming back inside the film room and joining us for another super fun episode.
Absolutely, it's great. I always love
Yep.
coming back here.
Absolutely, Jake. Love having you on as always. Always welcome to come on. And Zach, we know we need to get you out of here so you can go whip up a graphic for people to vote on with this. But just stay tuned for the vote. Go check it out I'm sure it'll be up on Twitter, of course, Instagram. Like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. You can find the interviews that Zach is cooking up, including the podcast episodes, all over there. And those accounts can be found at Inside Film Room.
And while you're at it, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, Amazon, iHeart, YouTube, anywhere you can find a podcast. We're there. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and subscribe on YouTube to check out those interviews like Johnny mentioned. We've got one up now with Luke Tinney from Shrinking. And be sure to come back next week for another fantastic episode. We'll see you then.